Good feels, take one.
Let's be honest for a second. Sometimes you don't need another drink. You don't need to spiral out. You don't need the chaos. You just need a good feel. That's why I love Good Feels Infused Seltzer. It's light. It's intentional. It doesn't knock you out. It just takes the edge off just a bit. Whether I'm winding down after a long day singing my guts out or decompressing after recording an episode that hits a little too close to home, Good Feels helps me stay present, not checked out. If you're curious, now's the time. Use my promo code DANGER for a special discount at checkout, because remember, peace of mind is what it's all about. Good Feels, 24/7. This is my flavor that I've chosen, pineapple mango. Yum, yum. Delish. Mwah. What if I told you reinvention isn't brave? What if I told you it's strategic? Because the people who last aren't the loudest, aren't the trendiest, and aren't the most liked. They're the ones who know exactly who they are and refuse to dilute themselves. Today's episode is about brand, image, voice, and how to evolve without breaking the thing that made people listen in the first place. This is Dangerously Honest with Lorraine Lewis. Welcome back to another episode of Dangerously Honest with me, Lorraine Lewis. And today's episode is sponsored by this infused seltzer, Good Feels. I've been drinking it since I got here today. I don't know. Let's see how I am at the end of the day, but I am feeling good, and I want you to as well. You can get a discount code if you use my code DANGER when you check out Good Feels. Check it out. Yum, yum. Woo, Good Feels has me feeling good. And if this is your first time checking out Dangerously Honest with me, Lorraine Lewis, I want to introduce my raindrops. My raindrops are my community, my tribe. And I love you guys for digging what I do, for following me, for commenting. Thank you so much for all the love, all the great comments about the show. I really appreciate it. Love it so much. Everybody, I want you to know, I just got back from being in the UK. I had the best time ever. I don't know if you've ever been, but you all really need to go. Got to spend some time in Birmingham looking at the Ozzy Osbourne Bridge and the museum. I mean, it was just such an amazing time. Also got to perform while I was in London with Guns to Roses opening up for Gilby Clarke. It was a really, really great night. There's a 12-year-old guitar player named Ollie who hit the stage with me. We did Sweet Child of Mine, and it went over great. The crowd loved it. The crowd was amazing, and thank you so much for having us. I can't wait to come back. Get out to the UK and take me with you, will ya? I'm jonesing to go back. Bottom line, my life is nonstop. Every day there's something new, there's something going on, the phone rings. I really don't know how I keep it all together, but I will say, Good Feels I'm going to be reaching for as often as possible, because I feel like it's keeping me a little balanced, a little wild, but kind of chill. I feel really good. But hey, I want to let you in on a little secret. When we started filming today, not going to lie, it was a shit show. We had some technical issues. We had guests that were ready to come on that we weren't quite ready for. Zoom wasn't working right. I mean, I tell you, it was a wild effing morning. But that's what this show is about. It's about being honest, so transparent, and that is where I'm coming from. Today was really off to an amazing start, but then the wheels started falling off, and that's what happens sometimes during the course of a day for anybody. But the most important thing is my producer stayed calm and cool and collected. Sound engineer stayed calm, cool, and collected. I was ready to throw some F-bombs around, but I held my tongue. And here we are. We kept it all together, and that's how we're bringing you this amazing episode, sponsored by Good Feels. Have some more. Cheers. This episode is a continuation of a conversation we started recently about reinvention, but today we're going to take it a step further because reinvention isn't just about starting over, it's about staying recognizable while changing, and that takes intention. We love to talk about reinvention like it's some dramatic rebirth. Come on, burn it all down, start from scratch, become someone new. But the truth is, the people who actually last don't erase themselves. They edit, they refine, they protect their voice. And that's what today's episode is really about. Brand isn't a logo, image isn't a costume, and voice isn't volume. It's consistency. It's knowing what stays the same even when everything else changes. I'm so excited because my guest today is someone who has mastered that across industries, across audiences, across decades. And instead of asking, how did you change? I wanted to ask, how did you not lose yourself? But before we get into all the fun things today, I want to share my memory with you guys, an unfiltered memory and from my heart. There's a moment that happens quietly, no announcement, no warning. It's when you realize people aren't asking what you want anymore. They're telling you what version of you they prefer. I remember being in rooms where I could feel the shift, where the conversation wasn't about what I was capable of, but what they were comfortable with. I wasn't finished, but they were finished with that version of me. And that messes with your head big time. Because when you've already proven yourself again and again, being asked to reintroduce yourself feels insulting and terrifying at the same time. I had moments where I asked myself, do I fight to stay recognizable, or do I evolve and risk being misunderstood? Here's what I learned the hard way. If you freeze yourself to make other people comfortable, guess what? You disappear anyway. Reinvention is not about becoming someone new. It's about refusing to abandon yourself just to be accepted. Come on, girl. That choice is lonely sometimes, but it's also the only one that's kept me alive creatively. Emergency, emergency. It is my red flag segment. And while we are on red flags, what we are talking about today, the topic is brand, image, and reinvention. And these are the top 5. Red flag number 5. Change, but stay familiar. If someone tells you to reinvent yourself, but only in ways that makes them comfortable, that's not growth, baby. That's containment. Real evolution shifts the room. If nobody's uncomfortable, you're probably not changing enough. Red flag number 4, permission-based reinvention. Listen, baby, if your next move requires approval from people who benefited from your old self, you're already in trouble. Reinvention doesn't come with a permission slip, and waiting for one is how people get stuck. That's a red flag. Red flag number 3, brand advice without skin in the game. Listen, everybody, be careful who gives you advice about your image if they've never had to live inside a brand, protect a voice, or survive public opinion. Their advice is theory, not experience, and theory won't serve you. That's a red flag. Red flag number 2, chasing relevance over alignment. Listen to me here. If you start chasing what's trending instead of what's true to me, that's a red flag, baby, because trends expire, alignment lasts, longevity comes from consistency and not chasing the moment. And our last red flag number 1, explaining yourself too much. If you feel like you're constantly explaining your evolution, apologizing for it, or justifying it, stop. People who respect your growth don't need a press release, and the ones who demand explanations usually aren't coming with you anyway. So that's a red flag. In closing, look out for the red flags when you're trying to brand yourself or your image or your heart or anything about you. You really are the person in control. So be careful of those red flags, and let's get rid of those red flags forever. Some nights after the mic is off and the world quiets down, I just want to exhale. That's when I reach for Good Feels Infused Seltzer. It's smooth, it's chill, and it doesn't hijack your night. It supports it. Perfect for late night reflection, creative juices flowing, or just sitting with yourself without the noise. If you want to try it, use my code DANGER for a discount, because feeling good shouldn't come with consequences. Cheers. Delish. Hey everybody, I am so excited today to be back with my 5 questions with Lorraine. Mwah. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you know, this originally started on Instagram, and I have moved it over to my show, Dangerously Honest with Lorraine Lewis. And I am happy, over the moon happy, to be inviting one of my favorite rock stars on the show today. His name is Chris Jericho. My guest today understands this better than most, because his career isn't built on one version of himself. It's built on knowing what never changes underneath the surface. Across industries, across audience, across decades, he's managed to evolve publicly without ever diluting his voice. And that's super rare. This isn't about hype, it's about strategy. It's about protecting your identity while expanding your reach. Let's talk to someone who has mastered that balance. The one, the only, Chris Jericho. Woo! Oh, Chris, it is so great to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. I have to tell you that I had never seen your band Fozzy perform. And when I ran into PJ on the streets of London and realized he was on tour with you and invited me to the show, I was over the moon about it. I mean, what a coincidence. Or is it a coincidence? I think I was meant to see your show. Anyway, it is a kick-ass show. You are a great performer, a great singer. The show was off the chain. I can't believe how many T-shirts were in the audience and people singing your songs and fists in the air. You really brought it. So thank you so much. I'm really, really so stoked that you're here today. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great time, and it was such a cool coincidence to see you there. But yeah, it was the biggest tour we've ever had over in the UK, and we've been going there for 20 years. So it was a great time all the way across the board. And you can see how the crowds are so excited and so ramped up, and it's just a big party whenever we go there. So it was a blast.
So Chris, let's play a game of 5 questions, shall we? 5 questions with Lorraine. Let's do this. We just explored reinvention with Stacey David Blades on my show recently. You've reinvented yourself publicly more times than most people ever have. How do you know when it's time to evolve versus when to protect what already works?
So I'm super influenced by David Bowie and just how he was able to evolve and reinvent pretty much, on an annual basis. And I always liked the idea that you could go to a Halloween party and there could be 10 people dressed up as Bowie, but in all different versions, and you would know, oh, that's Ziggy Stardust, and that's the Elven King, and that's Button Eye. And it's the same for Chris Jericho. I mean, every Halloween, people dress up as me, but it's different eras of Jericho. And I like that. So how do I know? It's more of a gut feeling, a gut instinct. And sometimes um, it might even be a little bit too early to evolve, but I always feel that I like keeping myself on my toes and keeping people on their toes as to what I'm going to do. Um, and I rarely go back to anything that I'd done in the past. So it's cool to, sometimes people want you to be something that you were 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I just never felt that. To me, it's Bowie all the way. Like, he would never go back to being, Ziggy Stardust in 1985 or something. That was a cool era in time. If you like Y2J, I'm glad. If you like, the Learning Tree, I'm glad. If you like The List, I'm glad. But I probably won't go back to that again. I like to continue to move forward just to keep things fresh. I never want to be a nostalgia act. So yeah, I'm happy to be where I'm at, but I'm always striving to think of new things and do new things and create new challenges. And once again, it's always about moving forward for me and still appreciating the past and also appreciating the present. You have to enjoy what you're doing at the moment. And really, one of my old sayings is drink it in. You got to really drink it in, man, and really enjoy where you're at the time. but it's also cool to have some uncharted waters ahead of me as well.
Tell me, Chris, have you done a lot of acting?
I have, yeah, I've done quite a few things, and I'm actually working on doing a lot more. I have actually three projects that are going to be released in April, which will be cool. Yeah, so but once again, you got to work hard on that, and so that's another thing that I've really started to focus on with all the meetings and the auditions and all that side of things as well. Because wrestling is acting, being a front man of a band is acting. You know, you mentioned having the crowd in the palm of your hand. You're playing a character when you're on stage, as you know. So all of that comes from the same place of creating and playing a character. So actually doing that on film and in TV is not that far of a stretch for me, as it is anyways.
Chris, I'm not going to lie. When I saw you on stage performing with Fozzy in London, I got to say, you are fit, you are handsome, you look great. So tell me, are you the guy in the hotel room lifting weights constantly? Like, what are you doing? Because you look so great. What's your secret?
I have started to lift weights again over the last 6 months or so, and I did go to the gym on this last tour daily, which is something I haven't really done in a while, and it was really cool because it gives you something to do to break up the day. Because as you know, when you're playing a show and you're on at 9:30 at night, you're just basically sitting around all day. So that was a good kind of diversion. I do a lot of fasting for like a day or day and a half, usually once or twice a week. I do planking twice a day now for 7.5 minutes, both times. So between all of that stuff, you know this as well. It's very easy to get out of shape when you're on the road. Conversely, it's also very easy to stay in shape when you're on the road if you're thinking about it and if you have the mindset of it. So the guys in our band were all pretty much fitness oriented because it's show business. You have to look good, you know, you really do. And we all take that very seriously because it's an honor and a privilege to be in a band and to be on tour. And so we don't want to show up, 10 pounds overweight or whatever it may be, because that's not what people want to see. They want to see rock stars on stage. They want to see larger than life characters on stage. So we take great pride in that.
100%. But hey, I'm not trying to embarrass you at all. But I got to tell you, you jump during your shows. Your whole band jumps. Everybody's jumping up and down. You weren't wearing a shirt. And you don't budge. Like there is nothing on your body. You have no body fat. You're jumping up and down and you are solid as a rock. That's impressive. How in the world do you stay so fit? I loved it. Anyway, just had to tell you that. Hey, Chris, I want to know there's constant pressure to stay relevant. How do you evolve without chasing trends or losing authenticity?
We've been in showbiz as long as we have. You have a gut instinct for things, and there's a lot of that in everything that I do. What feels right? Because after a while, like that, this project is something about it that just doesn't really work for me, or this project is something that I really, really want to do. So I'm really going to focus on it to get the gig or keep the gig or build up the gig. A lot of that, like I said, you just that becomes an instinct, just from being in the business for so long.
Chris, for the most part, I think everybody loves you. You're a hero to many. But who protects you from comments on YouTube or Instagram? Do you have somebody that does that and do you let it affect you?
Yeah, I mean, I try and stay away from that because there's a lot of people that hate you, just because you exist and just because you do cool things. And there's a lot of people that love you for the same reason. So if you're going to go online to read the good comments, then you have to be ready for the bad comments as well. And I don't really see the point in it either way. Obviously, I want people to enjoy what I'm doing, and I've got a great fan base that does. So that's kind of the best way to judge it, is just how people are reacting when you see them, and when you put tickets on sale or all that sort of thing. To go on social media and scroll through to read the comments of people that love you or want you to die, it's kind of not that beneficial. So I try and stay away from that as much as I can.
Do you know how to cook?
Well, my
Like,
wife's a really good cook, so that's a good thing. I was really good on the barbecue, especially when my kids were growing up. They used to love steak and chicken, and I used to do that all the time. And now we don't barbecue as much, and when we do, we have a couple friends that are great at it, so they come over and barbecue really. So I'm not as much of a cook as I used to be. Right now, it's probably more of just making an omelet or something like that if I want. But the thing is too though, nowadays it's so easy to just get whatever you want. Like just Uber Eats everything. You know what I mean? It's so that's something where you get lazy just because it's easy to be lazy in this day and age.
Okay, I want to know what's your go-to Uber Eats order on the road?
Well, I like once again, if I'm fasting and I make my weight because I have a certain weight that I stay between, then I'll eat. You know, and I don't have any problems. I just had a Cracker Barrel this morning. Has amazing breakfast. So I had the pancakes and I had the eggs and the. I also really like a good pizza as well. So I'll do that on the road. I like to try different types of pizza. So I don't ever order like Domino's or Papa John's or something. I'll try and order something local just to see how it is. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I like barbecue a lot when I'm eating. That's always tasty for me as well. So those are kind of the go-tos because I don't eat as much as I used to. When I eat, I want it to be really good. So I stick with what I like. I love a good cheeseburger as well, all that sort of stuff.
Are you a Libra by any chance?
No, I'm a Scorpio.
Scorpio. Okay, one of my best friends is a Scorpio, but I will say, as far as Scorpios go, if I'm in a bar fight, I want her with me. This is your last question, Chris, and thank you so much for your time. What is something about you that people would be really surprised to know?
People pretty much know all the stuff that I like to do. Um, I have 5 dogs. That's something. I'm a big dog lover. I have 3 goats, 3 cats. So with a lot of animals at my house here, that might be something that people might not know a lot about. Also, I'm a bass player. There's a little bit of trivia. But yeah, just most of the stuff that I love, people know because I either talk about it, in interviews or on my podcast, or they just know from just being around for so long.
Chris, thank you so much for your generosity with your time today. I am so happy to have you on the show. Happy to call you a friend. Thank you very, very much. I'm a huge fan now, and I am just elated that you spent some time with me today. Thank you very, very much, and we'll see you on the road. Mwah.
Congratulations on all your renewed success. I know you're going to Australia, which is always a blast. So hopefully we get a chance to do some shows together and see each other again soon.
I want to sit with that for a second because what you just heard wasn't about fame or noise or staying relevant. It was about knowing yourself well enough to evolve without erasing who you are. That's the part nobody teaches. Reinvention isn't about becoming louder, it's about becoming clearer. And when you're clear, your voice carries further than anything else. If this conversation did anything for you or someone that you might know might want to see it, hope it reminded them that longevity isn't luck. It's intention. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need anybody to tell you what to do, and you don't need applause to move forward. You just need to trust yourself, trust your intuition, your guts, and enjoy the steps along the way. Whenever it feels uncomfortable, keep going. That's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone deserves access to your next version. Some people only support you as long as you stay the same. So if you're evolving and it feels lonely, you're not failing, you're leading. If this episode resonates with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this, who's standing at the edge of their next chapter. Follow Dangerously Honest with Lorraine Lewis, that's me, on iHeartRadio, so you don't miss what's coming next. And remember, reinvention isn't a crisis. It's a strategy. I'll see you next time on Dangerously Honest with Lorraine. XOXO. Mwah.